Hello, friends. We are back on another Monday Eve to talk about the newest episode of The Traitors. And as I've seen on socials, there are many of opinions. So let's get right on into it.
Opinions aplenty.
Watching you guys like bopping in the backstage area is so funny.
Never gets old. You have a great
Never
song.
does. It's a bop. It's a bop.
Yeah, it is.
But as always, I am Gina Morgino. I am joined with my two faithful friends, Kyle Petty and John Dumpy, and we are here to talk to you about the newest episode of The Traitors. Does anybody have any initial thoughts before we get going?
I love this show. This was not my favorite episode of all time.
Sure.
And we'll get into all of it, but I still really enjoyed watching it. But I can't wait to get into it. That's all.
Yeah, no initial thoughts. While all right. A lot of naysayers out there. There definitely are some things about this episode I didn't love, but there still are some interesting things to kind of get into. Like how we kicked off the episode with this recruitment. I mean, like that's certainly interesting. So, like, yeah.
It literally saw no way that this could go other than him accepting the recruitment. There was a 0% chance in my brain that he was going to say no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely thought that he was going to accept it. And this is interesting now because obviously I don't want to spoil things, but like it's really, really tough to now still murder him directly after, especially everything that's been going on here. So I don't know what the best move was. And I also am not so sure that it was I never know what to do here because I could really argue both sides. When you think about the breakfast conversations and the fact that you did not disclose that a recruitment was attempted, I guess, what do you think? Does it make sense to say, hey, they tried to recruit me and I said no? Or does it make sense to just, mum's the word?
Right. I get why he did what he did, like by not announcing it to everyone because you're afraid that like me saying this, it's going to put a big target on my back. I don't know that I would have even told the smaller group like he did. Like I get it, but I just thought it was weird, and it was another moment where he's pulling his clique of people into a room and closing the door. I just felt like he's doing too much. I've felt like this the last couple of weeks, really too.
I feel like I don't know. If someone told me, oh yeah, they tried to recruit me and I said no, in my mind, I'm like, who in their right mind would say no? If you know there was a recruitment and you're saying you were recruited, there's no way you didn't take it. Like, I see no benefit to saying no. So like, why, if you're telling me that, why would I believe you? I don't know. There's something about it that like, I feel like if Peter had said that to me, I wouldn't have believed him, even though it's true. I would have been like, I don't know about this.
I feel like him and the people he surrounded himself with are like they're such an interesting bunch because like the way that episode 6 ended, they definitely left it on a cliffhanger, feeling like Peter's definitely going to accept this recruitment. Yeah. Like he said, like if I don't take it, I'm probably going to get murdered, so I feel like I have to take it. But then when we kicked off episode 7, his whole reasoning was like, I want to do this the right way, as if like being a traitor is not winning the right way or something. That's like the way it felt like it came off to me. And I'm like, so does he think that like there's no way they won't believe me because this is how we all feel? Like, Bergie, John, like they know I'm loyal. If I tell them that I got recruited and I said no, they'll believe me. Like, I don't know.
It's like this like weird like nobility that he has of like, oh no, I have to do it the honest way. And it's like, because even, I feel like we saw a lot, like we're still seeing stuff from postseason of last year of people being like, yeah, well, I can't believe that Suri did what she did. There was, like nothing honorable about that win. And it's like, you are in a game of deception.
Right.
You're not, you're not a bad person if you win by lying. That's the point. The traitors are there to deceive you. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, like there are faithfuls in the game and there are traitors. by definition, a traitor's entire purpose is to deceive you and murder their way. They're murdering everyone. They're literally murdering everyone. But like that's like, you know, that's not like that's like a not an honorable way though, because that's but the two,
That's the
you know,
game.
in Clue, you know, each character has their person. Like sometimes you find out who the murderer is. Like they're a character in the game. There are faithfuls and there are traitors, and like no matter who you are and no matter who wins, like you're doing it in an honorable way. I don't understand. Like
by honoring the game, yeah, like by the job that you were given.
Yeah, I find. But would you have a harder time beginning as a faithful, knowing that you were telling everyone the truth in the beginning and then switching? Because I wonder if Peter would have this big moral dilemma if it wasn't for that. Like if he started as a traitor, it's like, okay, that was always my purpose. Like it does feel slightly ickier to begin your game completely genuine, and then switching like halfway through, like all of a sudden, no, now I am murdering you.
I definitely feel that.
Sure, but still, that's
Maybe.
like kind of just the cards you were dealt, you know? Like,
Right, that's-
It is
and
just
now
a
I'm gonna be
game. It
shitty
is
and
just
lie
a
to you
game.
for no reason. Like, no, your positioning in the game changed.
I can definitely see how like it could feel like a moral dilemma, but like at the end of the day, and like you can make whatever decision you want, but like to refer to it as like winning the wrong way or something by switching from a faithful to a traitor, like that's just part of the game.
Right. And it does
Everybody
put you in a much
in-
better position, you know.
Because everybody in Breakfast, as soon as they realize no one got murdered, everybody's like, "Oh, this happens when there's a recruitment." So like, it's not like it's a foreign concept. Like people are like, "Oh,
Yeah, it's not
this
a
is how the
secret.
game works." Sometimes you get in a traitor, and then they recruit one more. That's just the game. So it's not like anybody could necessarily be. I mean, I guess they could be mad, but like, why? That's just a piece of the game that you all signed up to play. You know?
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I did laugh though, because while, you know, like Alan comes in to tell them that Peter said no, and we get like Parvati's soliloquy or like whatever this was of her so dramatically being like, you know, we have to, I know that the cards are against me, but I just have to, it's just like over dramatic, like this is how I have to navigate. It's like, one, Parvati also has to navigate the same thing, so I don't know why she's the one that you're telling this to. Two, why are we being so dramatic?
She's being so dramatic. I did enjoy her saying, "I'm wearing my predatory headband."
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm ready to go.
Yes.
It's like, okay, that's really fun. That's really
Oh
fun.
my god.
Parvati, the thing is though, like she can't help herself, and I don't remember exactly like what it was that she said, but some of the questions she was asking at breakfast really painted her as a traitor. She goes, "Oh, so Peter, so Mom, oh, what's going on?"
Immediately she was like, "Yeah,
stop it!"
Right away, she was like, "Oh, there was a recruitment. Peter, did they come to you?" And it's like, why would you ask that question when you know you're the person
She's
that
being
asked him?
so because she is so mad that this bachelor is playing a good
Yeah.
game. She's
Specifically because he's a bachelor.
Yes, it's just sticking right in her craw, and she can't take it. And it's like that's what it's actually kind of hysterical because it's like that is going to be your anger and your distaste for this man is going to become your undoing. Like
I could not believe
quiet.
that she so blatantly, knowing that she asked him, was like, "Oh, well, did somebody ask you to be a traitor?" She's gonna be like, "Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, you did."
Right. Yeah, it's like just stop it, stop. You gotta chill out. She's so mad, and it is really fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. It's like, babe, just chill out.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to ask about what you guys think though about like where Parvati stands now, even though she tried to recruit Peter and he said no. I mean, obviously we've been talking about the last few weeks, at least the last couple of weeks, how she's been in trouble and people have been saying her name, Peter's whole clique. But now with, you know, the fact that first Phaedra tried to go into that room after breakfast with the clique of 5, Peter's little group, she got rejected, turned away, told everybody. MJ tries to go in and like really was calling them out, like, and you need privacy.
MJ.
Why? Like, and then she left. And you have Sandra, you know, using the balls from the billiard table to point out, like, this is how many numbers Peter's group has. This is how many numbers we have. This is where we now need to vote and like Sandra was like referring to Peter not only as a traitor, but if he's the head traitor, she was saying. So I'm wondering now, like, what do you think? Like, has Parvati's game improved? Is she still in as much trouble as she's been in, or do you think that she's got some numbers behind her now? She can't be murdered. She's a traitor, and if that group that Sandra was with follows through, they do have the numbers to get people like Peter out of there before Parvati goes. So I'm just curious.
They do, but I gotta say, in that situation, I think that Peter can end up being like the sacrificial lamb, because if the Sandra slash Parvati group now banishes Peter at any point and they realize that now, oh, he is a faithful or he gets murdered, I don't think that works very good for Parvati. Because it's going to be like, oh, well, this is what he was saying the entire time. If Peter goes, then Parvati's out next. Because
I also think too, like,
the wrong direction.
People did clock once we get to the end of the episode his relief at being saved from being murdered too. And I don't remember if it was Sandra. Somebody was like,
Sandra said it.
It might have been Sandra,
like,
actually. Yeah.
Too relieved to have been lying. Like he was just so like calm now, and he's like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for saving me." Like that didn't feel like an act. So I feel like prior to that moment, maybe, but once that happened, I feel like people are now turning again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very possible. I also think that Sandra needs to cut it out. Right? Because Sandra, as she's playing with her billiard balls and all these other things, and she's talking about, oh, my knowledge of Survivor tells me, like, the numbers and blah, blah, the numbers. It's like, that's not the game you're playing. So even if you don't like the fact that Peter is having these conversations behind closed doors, if he is directing you in the direction of traitors and you're just not part of those initial conversations, I don't know. For me, I would just stand back and just kind of let the game unfold. As long as you're not talking about me, right? You're having these closed door conversations. Granted, we don't really know what you're talking about, but he's been real dead set on Parvati. So let it go.
Yeah.
Let him have it. And if it doesn't work out, then we start looking at Peter. Then we start counting these numbers. And it's like, we're not talking about one side versus the other, because like that's not really what this is.
Right, like two big dogs are going at each other and neither of them are looking at me. I'm just gonna scale back.
I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna listen. Just
yeah.
listen, right? Because like either one of them could be right. I want to, because like you don't know who the traitors are at this stage. So I'm gonna listen to Parvati and everything she's saying. I'm gonna listen to Peter. I don't care about those conversations back there as long as you're not talking about me. Right. Whatever. Actually better for me maybe if I'm not in some of those conversations, because if Peter pals kind of start pointing at the wrong person, I wasn't part of it. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. You knew I wasn't in there. So like, leave me alone. I don't know. Let them have their chats.
Yeah. But so do you think that, I agree with what you were saying there. So do you think that Parvati though has her danger level? I'm standing Miss Shallow here. I'm John W. Shallow. Has her danger level reduced at all from where it was? Because it does feel like maybe some of the suspicions been taken away. But I think because of the twist they did with this, everything's just so up in the air that I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling pretty good for a while, like feeling like before we, realized that we weren't going to have a banishment, I was feeling like, all right, maybe Parvati's kind of turned her game around here. But with everything with how the episode ended, I feel like I have no idea.
It's really hard to say right now. It could go either way for me.
I think it can go either way too. But like you mentioned, how Sandra kind of clocked Peter's relief when his torch was lit, giving him that final bit of safety, knowing that he couldn't be murdered that night.
Yeah, I just wonder though, like
end up spreading, because Sandra is not one to be silent, right? She's going to say everything that she felt and thought in those moments. So as you have these conversations with the Parvati pals, we're gonna see how that goes.
Right.
I don't know. She could have some problems, because let's not forget that Sandra did not arrive at the castle feeling so great about Miss Parvati.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
They have their beef, so it's certainly possible that you can be like, you know what? Maybe Peter's onto something. I really felt the relief there. And Sandra she has the power of influence. I have seen very few people have as much influential power as she does. I mean, she's up there with Suri. Sandra says something, people start listening. So
Yeah,
It's going
that'd
to
be
be
very
interesting to
interesting.
watch. Yeah,
Very interesting, and so much I feel like is hinging on Sandra.
it
I guess
is.
we'll see. You know
It
what
could
else I
also be.
thought was Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I would say it also could just be interesting, because like now that Parvati is kind of part of whatever that side is and having those conversations, I wonder also how effective Sandra will be in being able to have those other conversations. Even if she starts to suspect Parvati, is she going to be able to get that out? Or is it going to have to wait
Yeah.
for a roundtable? Because Parvati is going to be in them thinking that she can be a part of it. Sandra's not going to exclude her because she doesn't want to come off like Peter. So
Right.
she may not be able to tell people like
Yeah.
what she's thinking, how she feels. So that'll kind of have an effect as well.
Do you think we've been talking about Parvati a lot,
Hmm.
but so in the mission that they had, Parvati was paired up with John, and John did make a few comments like, "So I've been working with Parvati, and I have to say I'm pretty surprised," and like was speaking pretty positively about her, and they did like very well. They were one of only the two teams. Do you think there's any possibility that that Parvati could be kind of having some kind of effect on John that might be positive for her game? Is it any possibility?
Anything's possible, but refresh my memory a bit on the things that John thought were encouraging about Parvati.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch, but I think they worked very well together with answering the questions and figuring things out, and just working through the forest very quickly.
Hmm.
It's just so hard because in these missions, and we've said this before, they have such little effect on the game other than earning money. So it's so hard to apply what you learn in these missions or people's performance in the missions to Traitor or Faithful. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I wish
Yeah.
there was more of a crossover between the two.
And that's kind of where I was going with that, because I don't remember exactly what it was that he said, but I do remember he was saying positive things. And if they are based on her competition performance, that sometimes I feel like the players and the traders start to think too mole like. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, you're trying to win the challenge, so you must not be a trader. And it's like,
that doesn't
no,
mean anything. Yeah,
right?
everyone's trying to get the money.
Exactly. Everyone has a vested interest in making sure that we win these things. So your performance behavior is indicative of, quite honestly, nothing. If anything, it could be argued that somebody trying super, super hard in the competitions actually, well, I'm about to walk into this one. If you're trying too hard, almost like maybe you are faithful, just because like I want more money because I'm splitting it among more people. But
Yeah.
it's not an automatic rule out
Yeah,
that
I don't
you're
know
not a
that the same
trader.
could be said of the traders. Like, I want to win as much money as I
Exactly. I want to
possibly
win as
can,
much money. So
Right.
like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I guess the
I guess
only
we
thing
have
I
a
would
little bit, but it doesn't. The
yeah.
steam runs too quickly.
I guess the only thing I would add would be that I do remember that Parvati was kind of being very vocal about how much she wanted to try to get a shield. So and I think that was part of the play of being like, well, if I'm
Mm,
talking about how much I want a shield, maybe people will think that I'm worried, and maybe
the
that will get
shield
some
does add a
suspicion off
layer.
of
Yeah.
me. So I feel like, all right, if she's really desperate for a shield, she's performing really well with me, like maybe that's what Parvati was trying to kind of show John. I don't know.
no,
Maybe
that's
it'll have
certainly
no effect.
no, that's certainly possible. That absolutely adds a layer, like Judah said. But I also think that like, come on, John, like be a little smarter than that. Not John Dunphy shallow. I mean
And I was
John,
like, oh my
Right.
gosh.
no,
Like,
John from Parliament.
damn.
No, like be a little
John
smarter.
from Parliament.
Because I forget his last name. Something with a B, Burkow, something like that. I
Something
don't
like that. Yeah, John
know,
Burkow or something, I
something
think.
like that. Because like obviously she's going to say she wants a shield so bad because she wants you to think she needs one. So it's like I would expect you to be a little bit wiser there. Like, come on, man. Like
It's funny too because actually, when you think about it, I was gonna say, like, has it worked for other people in the past, right? Like acting so desperate for a shield, and then when I think back to it, like one of the people that was the most desperate, mission after mission was Janelle, and she's been gone for a little while now. So like, how
And
much
then
does it really help you?
the only one of the traders that like ever tried for a shield was Dan, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people also just didn't like Janelle's style of play. Like she's very aggressive and like
Usually resulted
there's
in
just still
someone
love
being
forever, it's
tackled.
gonna be mine. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She's throwing bows. Like, people don't really like that. That's really fun in the Big Brother universe, but like
Right,
no,
right,
it
right.
doesn't, it
Yeah.
doesn't totally translate in this one.
Yeah, usually
Um,
ends with someone getting tackled. Although I do feel like I stand by Janelle during that Ekin-Su one. Janelle was definitely there. She was definitely there first.
I couldn't agree more. Like, stop it, Ekin-Su. You knew that wasn't yours. You just miffed that she got there first. Because like Ekin-Su was definitely standing around there. She was trying to get it, but like, sorry, you got got.
Janelle had her like
God.
fully like boxed out. Then you have Ekin-Su like trying to reach over her shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Mhm. So
and then
I
by the
was
time they
there.
get back, by the time they get back to the castle, Ekin-Su's like, "Yeah, I was there first," and Janelle shoved me out of the way. It was like, "Whoa,
What do you mean?
whoa!"
Right, absolutely. Get
Oh
out of
my
here. It's
God.
crazy. She mad
Ekans.
crazy.
Which,
Um,
while we're talking about Ekin-Su, we kind of brushed past this earlier in the episode. I was talking about this with James earlier today. Last season, I feel like The Traitors was a very niche show, that it was only like an if you know, you know. But this season, it's definitely exploded into like this huge thing.
mhm.
And I just love that, like, oh Lord, not Ekin-Su was like the meme of all memes that everybody was posting. And this week it's been MJ getting kicked out of the room and slowly just like backing up into the door awkwardly. Like, it's so funny seeing these posts rolling around. Oh
It's
my God.
great.
The internet culture of the Traitors this time around is
I'm so happy the
chef's
Traders
kiss.
is going mainstream.
So funny.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my God, it's so
Um,
funny.
I do have to. I'm sorry. I know I said off stream that I was not going to talk about production interference
Let's
on
do
the
it.
traders, but Matt Blevins did want to know. I didn't want to put this comment on the screen because I don't know what one of these words are. I don't know if you spelled something wrong or if my vocabulary is not expansive enough. But Matt wants to know if they planned the end twist to prevent Sandra's alliance from something the others, or has this appeared in other versions? So I don't know what that word is, but I will say that I do believe shenanigans were at play. The Traitors US has historically been the exact same game they play in Traitors UK, and I did have the pleasure, the absolute honor of watching all of the Traitors UK. So every competition that I've been seeing on Traitors US is something I already saw. Um,
Yeah,
Pagan,
I just looked it up. It looks like it's I don't know if I'm
Paganjing.
pronouncing it right, but kagonging or paganjing. Yeah, it's a survivor term. It says it's a fan-made term used to describe a post-merge strategy in which one tribe
Oh,
systematically eliminates members of the
oh
rival
no.
tribe one at a time. And that's on the Survivor fandom wiki page.
Oh no. Oh no. How dare you bring this survivor word to a Big Brother house? Okay. You know our roots, you know our foundation, you know why we came to this conversation in the first place, coming here with pagonching. I don't know what any of that is. But I will say that there was some tomfoolery at play with this twist. I did not see this one in Traders UK. They definitely tried it with this one. This is really to extend the Parvati v. Peter
Pagonging.
whatever you want to call this. Hard G's. All right, well, you can keep this word. This is really crazy. I ain't never going to try to say it again. I'm definitely done with that word. But yes, I agree. Shenanigans indeed. Yeah, total crap. This is just to make sure that Peter didn't go. And they just had anything up in their arsenal to say, hopefully Peter is kept safe. Because I do feel like their influence is limited. They can only do like so much.
The only thing I liked about the twist really was that it, like, being out in the woods like that, lighting the fires, gave me very much like Yellow Jacket vibes. And I love the show
I'm
Yellow
familiar
Jackets.
with Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets is a great show.
That's
Great
on
show.
Paramount Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Paramount Plus and Showtime, and It's a fantastic
I've heard
show.
it's great. I've heard it's really good.
I've heard
It
it's
really
great
is
too. I
so
had
good.
watched the first episode, but I think I was kind of high. And I remember thinking, you know what? I would like this, but I got to pay more attention than this. I got to rewatch this episode and make sure I understand exactly what's going on here. And I never did revisit it. So, many lamentations,
Actually,
Yellow Jackets.
this is not the first time that I brought up Yellow Jackets on the pod,
It's
actually.
not.
And I think the last time I brought it up was because I was watching season 2 with my sister Mary Kate. And in one of the episodes, in the background on the TV, you see
Oh, yes.
the banana backpack on the TV in the background. Like you see the
Wow.
moment on the like there's like a conversation going on between two characters in the show, and the TV just on in the background, and you just see CT carrying Johnny Bananas on his back through the screen.
3 cheers for Viacom for the product placement. We like it. We like it. Love to see that. All right. We'll have to give it another go.
Yeah.
CT had a moment in this challenge that actually had me laughing out loud. It was when they're doing like the Q&A or whatever, and like whoever has the wrong answer gets ensnared, and they're looking at what ends up being the symbol on the table, and it's like, is the sun or the moon in the center? And Phaedra and CT chose the sun, and he goes in to grab the scroll, gets like caught up in this trap, and while he's in the air hanging there, he goes, I think it was the moon. Like, oh, it's made me laugh so hard. I was like,
literally,
moon.
Traitors UK had the exact same questions, the exact same traps. Like,
oh, it was that similar.
Yes, even the
I thought like the format was
Comet McDormick or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
That made me feel like an
UK.
idiot.
I didn't remember it this time. Like I still don't know what it is.
That's the thing. I'm watching and I saw somebody get it wrong, and I went, okay, it's the other one. And the next couple would go up and be like, which one is it? And I'm like, I already forgot. I have no idea. You just said it to me, and I still don't know.
And mine is still worse because I watched it multiple times now. I watched everyone in the UK mess it up, and I still don't know. And I watched it again, like I still don't know. Totally unacceptable.
Oh, I felt very dumb.
So yeah, literally the same exact questions too. And it makes sense to think that the sun would be in the center. It's like a sunburst.
Right. Yeah.
I actually was convinced that they were right until we found out, like from
They
production, that that they weren't.
Right.
Even for the sake of like the symmetry of the table, I was like, it's got to be the sun, right?
Yeah. Also, Matt Blevins, season 2 premiere, season 2, episode 1 of Yellow Jackets, Banana Backpack. But the only thing I remembered, once they said that it was the moon, I did remember that you can tell, like, each person around the table, the way the chairs are set up. If you look at it, it shows the moon in different phases, from like full to crescent.
Oh, does it? I've never noticed that.
I have noticed that. So
never have I noticed that. That's crazy.
I've paid no attention to any of that.
Damn.
Now I will. Now I'm gonna look.
Yeah, now me and Kyle.
I'm definitely gonna look now. Kate was hysterical. She's like, I've already been here. I still don't know what you're talking about. I'm never looking over there. I don't stand over the table. I just sit at it. It's like
I don't set the table. I don't set the table. What?
Oh, jeez.
It's also I also felt dumb because like the next question then was the like, is it keep your friends close or keep your enemies close? And I was like, well, obviously it's keep your enemies close. Why would something on the Traitor say keep your friends close? That's silly. And immediately she got like trapped. And I was like, okay, well, I would be really bad at this challenge then. Deepest apologies.
Yeah, but honestly, put me up in the sky with the leaves. Don't have me fall in nobody muck. That's nasty.
Yeah, I like how everybody got trapped the same way except the first 2 people. They were like, no, now you're stuck in the mud. Have fun.
Pissed. You're freaking pissed.
Yeah, that mud. Oh, that was bad.
Nasty.
And then you're standing in it the whole time. You got to stand in it at the end. You got to ride back in the car.
Yeah, they're all dirty.
You probably got muck in your ass crack and like all of your shoes and everything. Everything is ruined. Like, oh my God, no.
Muck in your ass crack.
Muck. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I feel like the only like notable thing about the ending of this competition was that Kevin and Sandra are the 2 that get the shields, which make them ineligible to be murdered. That's it. Most
Yeah.
of the money was lost, but
Right.
Kevin and Sandra are safe.
They definitely did better in the UK, I will say that.
Better?
They
There were
did
only
better.
2 of them left.
Right, they definitely did better. They, they had more, they banked more money than the Americans did. Say that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, no, you're saying the UK did better.
Yeah, the UK did better.
I thought you were saying the Americans did better. I was like, Kyle, we did really bad.
No, the UK did much
Okay,
better.
that
So I don't
makes
know
more
what that
sense
I
to
don't
me.
know what that says about us as a people. Um,
As a people.
They're dropping like flies.
Ping, 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 ping.
Hold on,
I
here's
did.
here's the here's the table. Do you see the people? You see like
Oh yeah.
the phases of the moon?
Wow. I never even knew that was there.
Me either.
I never noticed any of that.
Damn.
And this is,
Good eye.
this is S1. Very good eye. Yeah. John pays attention.
And that's well, so no, but I would have gotten the question wrong though. That's the thing. I would have gotten the question wrong because I would have said the sun. But once we found out that it was the moon, I was like, oh wait, they do have those like phases of the moon around the
Absolutely
table.
never
So
noticed. Wow.
yeah,
Never seen those in my life.
I mean, better than me. They showed the symbol, and it wasn't until CT was like, "Isn't that the table?" I was like, "Oh yeah." I was looking at it like, "What is that? Why would ever would I know it's in the middle of that?"
Exactly. What the hell was that? What are you talking about? Silly.
But yeah, we get back to the castle after the competition, and I held my breath when Peter was like, let's have a conversation. What if I brought Parvati and Phaedra into this room and tried to make an alliance with the 2 of them? And I was like, oh, Peter, you almost actually had one. What is happening here? What are we doing?
I don't know what that was.
what do you think about Phaedra too in that moment, being like, I don't like these secret room deals. Like, I'm getting out of here.
Really bad poker face, and she's like, I have to get out of these conversations as soon as possible, or I'm going to ruin my game? Or is she just like, I'll just pretend to be dumb, and then they won't be suspicious,
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that too. I kind of forgot about that. I don't really know that Phaedra should be leaving any conversation she's invited to. You're a traitor. You need to be listening to what people are saying.
Especially if
especially
Parvati's in it.
Exactly. Especially if Shifty Parvati is part of the conversation, you better be listening, okay? Because she will sell you down the river if it means she gets to stay a little bit longer. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't
Right.
think I would have left. I understand that you don't want to be a part of it because maybe it feels a little icky, but
Once
if
you're
you have
there,
right, once you're there and knowing that Parvati is a part of it, I need to be there to listen. And that would be just smart of any trader that if there's only 2 traders left, this is a 3-person conversation. Like, why would you ever leave it? Like, never mind. Like, take Parvati out of it. Like, I need to know what this other trader is saying. Like, I need to know what they're agreeing to from this other person. Because it's completely conceivable, Parvati or otherwise, that like now all of a sudden, the target can be on me. I can't. I wouldn't have left. I wouldn't have left.
yeah. I also feel like, and obviously we talked about how like with the twist, the whole torches in the woods thing and everything, how that kind of changed everything up. And we saw Sandra acknowledge like how relieved Peter looked. Like that hadn't happened at this point yet. So I almost wonder, like, let's say that somebody like a Sandra or an MJ saw Parvati and Phaedra go into this room alone with Peter, and Phaedra just came out being like, no, I didn't want to be a part of it, so I just left. Like, what if they don't believe her? What if they're like, you should have stayed in there and gotten information for us? Or you did get information and you're not telling us what it is. Now Peter's got you in also. You know what I mean? Like something like it could put suspicion on you that way by not just, I feel like, kind of sticking out the conversation. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, she's way too comfortable excusing herself from conversations involving other
Right.
traders. Like it was the same thing that we saw with the chalice. Like she's just like,
Right.
I'm out. It's like, what?
It's
No, you have
a
to be
track
part of
record,
this.
a track record of not wanting to be in these private conversations. And I feel like by doing that, like I feel like Suri never would have left that room.
Oh no!
Right, like you're excluding yourself from important information that you could potentially use. Like,
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Suri is an information gatherer, right? A collector, if you will. She's not going to leave a conversation where she could just listen. Suri, I've never seen someone. We watch a lot of these games, right? Whether Traitors, Big Brother, Survivor, The Challenge, like whatever it is. We watch so many of these, and people always feel super, super compelled to actively participate in these conversations that they're just like around for. I have never seen someone so masterful as Suri at giving absolutely nothing, but still making people feel like she's given it all. Like,
ask her direct questions, and she will somehow do these mental gymnastics to say so much without actually saying anything. And everyone's like,
anything.
perfect, I have
Right.
everything I need.
Right. And she'll just give other people's information. Like, she never gives hers. Like, she'll
Right.
give you enough of what she's heard from all the other conversations she's a part of to make it feel like she participated. But when if you really think about it, it's like, wait a minute. I don't actually know what Suri thinks. She just
Right. She
told me
actually
kinda-
didn't say
she just
anything.
told me what other people think, and it's like, but it makes you trust her. But like, yeah,
Yeah. No,
Suri
it's so
never would have
true.
had this conversation. Yeah,
It's so true. Like Suri, there's nobody better than Suri at like having a conversation with someone in a competitive game like this, and giving them an answer that completely satisfies them without like, but with Suri also not saying anything about her own game. Like
Says
it
so
really
much
is
while saying
incredible.
nothing.
yes, she walks away stress free. She did not give them. She trusted them zero.
Right.
Like, she has no reason to go. Oh gosh, should I have said that? Mm-mm. She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing at that. So no, she
Mhm.
definitely would not have left this conversation. And I feel like Phaedra would have been in a position to kind of create that situation because she already knew that Peter had his sights on Parvati. Parvati wants Peter gone. So and if you know enough about this game, it'd be very easy for Parvati to start pointing the finger at Phaedra to give Peter, that traitor he wants. I still am not totally sure that would mean that Peter isn't looking at her too, but
Right.
certainly stalls things because then she can recruit again and go ask somebody else and just kind of continue the cycle. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have left. Shouldn't have left.
Maybe Parvati talks her way into working with Peter long enough that, like you said, suspicion gets put onto Phaedra, a recruitment happens, then at some point Peter gets banished, and because Parvati's had a little bit of a buffer, now there's not as many eyes on her for that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you never
Mhm.
know what could happen, and it's
Right.
like Phaedra knowing that Parvati is so up against the wall, like, why are you going to give her any opportunity to talk to anybody alone if you can
Absolutely.
be
Right.
there,
She could make
be
she
there
would
for
make
it?
any deal at this point.
What did you think of Parvati being surprised that Phaedra did not light her torch at the end? I was a little surprised that she had such an expectation that Phaedra would take
They
care of her. I did
they
Yeah.
have gone so out of their way to never be seen together. I don't know why she
Right.
would expect that Phaedra would allow people to see that she was so closely aligned with her.
right. It
I
wouldn't even
Especially
make
Right.
knowing that
sense for
Phaedra's a
Phaedra
target.
to light
I mean,
hers. To be
Phaedra,
like,
that
where
Parvati's a
did that come
target.
from?
Yeah.
I thought that would have been the worst decision that Phaedra could have made if
Yeah.
she out of nowhere. I think everybody would have immediately been like, "Why the hell would Phaedra light Parvati's torch?" Like,
Right.
it makes no
Seen
sense.
together.
It made no sense.
Especially, like we talk all the time. We love, and by love I mean maybe not so much love, but we see safety chains freaking everywhere. And the one thing that make them so much fun is that you see everybody showing their cards.
Mhm.
That would be a wild card to show to a bunch of people that you're actively trying to make sure never see you speaking to each other.
Right. Why would you do that? It made perfect sense for her to light CTs. She's been very vocal about how much she likes them.
Like, are they
He's
in
a
love?
silly man.
Are they gonna get married?
Yeah, I like them a lot together. They were, and
I
they
love
worked.
them
They had just worked together in the mission. Like that made a
Mhm.
lot more sense to me.
Yeah, even a few weeks ago, she's like, "Oh, he's such a silly man. I just really love
Mhm.
him." And it's like they're so
They were like
cute. It's like,
holding hands in the last episode at one point.
yeah,
I
it
was like,
makes good sense that she would light his torch. Like that is absolutely the right decision. Parvati would have been like the last. Like,
That would have made the least possible sense.
mhm,
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all.
mm-mm.
it
Um,
was bizarre.
But now, speaking of Phaedra saving CT, what did you think of
This is exactly
Trishelle's
where I wanted to go next.
right? Like Trishelle's response to not being saved by CT. I thought this was so ridiculous. Also, Trishelle's
So,
response here.
question for you two: do they have history that's like romantic involvement at all, or is she just like so emotional that she just expected they should be friends and save each other? Because she was acting like they were exes and she's still in love with him and was scorned by him saving John instead of him or if her.
I thought this was ridiculous. I don't know of
It's
any romantic
wild.
I
history.
remember nothing romantically with the two of them, especially because like CT was always linked to DM.
Right.
And DM passed unfortunately because she had cancer, but she was still competing even with the cancer. So
Yeah.
there's literally no
Oh, DM.
world in which I don't know why, like Trishelle thought any of that. Like you came into this game saying that you didn't have the best history, and now all of a sudden you think that after a couple of days, like, oh, CT is like my brother. What are you talking about?
This
You
whole
weren't even saying that a few
conversation,
episodes ago. Like it's so weird.
this whole conversation back at the castle where she's going to the girls and being like, oh, like I want to talk to him, but I want him to come to me and I don't know how to handle it. And then he walks by the room and they're like, CT, you have to talk to her. And he comes in and she's like, I didn't want to find you because I wanted you to come talk to me instead of me coming to talk to you. And
So
she's crying about, like, I was like, this is so uncomfortable to watch.
It's so ridiculous.
I feel like I'm watching a breakup.
And I wish I remembered who said it because she came into a room and she first said, oh, CT didn't want to talk to me. And someone challenged her and was like, did he not want to talk to you? Or did you not? Oh, was it Phaedra? And like said, like, does he not want to talk to you? Or did you not try? Like, what do you mean he didn't want to talk to you? And she goes, well, I guess he didn't because he didn't. And it's like,
That's also
so annoying. Like,
yeah.
This is exactly why everyone hates you. Like,
that's also complete. That's complete BS because I specifically remember that the saved people got to leave the torches first in the forest. Then the people in danger went back after. CT was sitting there with all the saved people in the bar. Trishelle walked in and CT immediately, before Trishelle even said anything, was like, hey, you mad at me? You mad at me? And and she responded. He immediately said something to her before she ever said anything to him. So like, I don't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Enough now.
And also, I have to say, Trishelle is part of Peter's group here. I don't see Trishelle pulling CT into all these rooms with the doors closed, saying like, "Oh, we got to get CT in this group." Like, if Trishelle is really,
totally
you know, like, I don't understand where the. I think Trishelle was just annoyed that she didn't get her way. That's all.
It felt so uncomfortable to watch. I felt like I was intruding. I was like, I'm not supposed to watch this conversation. This is
right. Why are you even showing me this? This feels ridiculous. And I could not agree more with Miss Brown Sugar. Okay.
Yeah, I was
commenting that they were barely on seasons together, and her last challenge season was probably 10 years ago or more. Trishelle is a perpetual victim, and her whining will probably get her axed. Good riddance. And I could not agree more. I would love nothing more than to see Trishelle get the boot. And it would really feel like such sweet redemption for the fact that CT did not keep you safe. And now after all this hullabaloo and all this other stuff, now you get murdered. Wonderful. Beautiful way to go out. Fuck off and don't come back to any more of these reality TV shows. Just go on something we don't watch. Like
you were upset to see her from episode 1.
Yeah,
I was upset to even see her on the cast list. I was like, "What do you mean 3 people from the challenge?" Oh, Trishelle. Like I was always like, my mind was always trying to exclude her.
Right. I want to call her on some bullshit for one other thing too. Actually,
yeah, go on, go get it.
And that is that she tried to make the argument to CT, and we'll never know the truth of this, obviously, but she tried to make the argument to him that if she had been saved and he had not been saved yet, she was saving him. And I'm thinking to myself, at this point, Peter hadn't been saved yet. John hadn't been saved yet because CT was the one that saved him. Kevin hadn't been saved yet. These are all people in that Peter clique that Trishelle is a part of. And she's trying to convince us that the people that she goes into all these closed door meetings with are not going to get saved, and CT is, because of this imaginary friendship relationship that Trishelle claims that they have. I didn't buy that at all either.
Not at all. No way. You think that Trishelle would not have gone and lit Peter's torch at that point?
I think that's 100% what she would have done.
Absolutely. Oh, It's like I cannot stand this woman. You have not grown up at all. You are literally as annoying as you have ever been. Like she just sucks so much. Please murder her. Please murder her.
Please murder.
It
Damn,
sounds
tell
so
us how you
terrible.
really feel.
Oh my
Goodness.
God. She's terrible.
Oh,
Also agree with this, Miss Brown Sugar. Absolutely. Haven't seen it fit yet that was worth her weird microaggressions of Peppermint. Now we're
Mm.
robbed of Peppermint's personality and Luke's.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm still so bitter Peppermint left so soon.
I
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
We were robbed of
If
more peppermint.
goes, I'm going to be so upset. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because that was your goal from go.
Yeah, you put
Yep.
her there.
I am so tired of this woman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Trishelle needs to go. Trishelle needs to go
Oh,
as soon as
please,
possible.
please. Oh, I need a twist that just sends her right out of here. At least, or let her fall in the mud and then get rid of her. I want to see her get filthy.
Oh no.
Yeah, just disgrace her on the way out.
Yeah.
Call in Nickelodeon and slime her on something. Anything on the way out, just disgrace her even further. I can't stand her. God, she's the worst.
Well, but before we start speculating on who we think the murder is going to be, what did we think about this whole moment in the turret of Parvati? Like they walk in and Phaedra's immediately like, Parvati, you need to stop being such an ice princess. Like you need to cut it out. I was like, what? What are we talking about? She's like the whole episode we see Phaedra being like, I don't know if I can trust Parvati anymore. She's too cold. I don't know if I'm like, what? Where is this coming from? How does that
She's
affect
got to
me?
stop coaching her.
But also,
Parvati
I don't
go
know why
down.
that. Even if Parvati is being like cold and rude or whatever to other people, why does that affect her relationship with Phaedra? Why does that mean Phaedra can't trust her if she's being cold to other people?
I think because Parvati is trying to almost appeal to Phaedra, say like you're not really like defending me and you're not really like in my corner. And I think Phaedra is responding to some of that and saying like it makes it a little bit hard to do that because like you're really hard to back because your behavior is erratic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I took it as her feeling like Parvati might burn her, not like, oh, it's hard to like, you know, like she was making it sound like I don't know that Parvati will have my back.
But I see. This is all very interesting because I agree with Phaedra that I think Parvati has been cold to people at times.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Parvati was part of that group that didn't get saved. And like, look at how Trishelle was. Like, was she any more cold than Trishelle was?
Right. Yeah. They all came in pissy. So did MJ.
Right.
So not MJ.
Yeah. And like even an example of Phaedra herself not wanting to be a part of that conversation. Parvati wasn't running out of the room. Parvati was staying there to talk to Peter, who she's been at odds with. Like, is Phaedra walking out of the room a sign of being cold? Like, I feel like everybody's been cold at times. So I don't really know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just thought it was so like she came in like right out of the gate. As soon as they walked in the turret, she was like, "You have to stop being such an ice princess." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
It's not wrong. I wouldn't coach her.
Right. I agree.
Leave her down in flames.
Right. If people aren't feeling Parvati and they want to get rid of her, that's just better for Phaedra.
Bye. Right.
Yeah.
So after the safety chain, we are left with Parvati, who can't be murdered, so it doesn't really matter. Bergie, Trishelle, Kate, and MJ are our last four. So who do we think is getting the boot? I have no idea.
I don't think it will be. I also hope it's not Kate.
I don't think it's gonna be Kate.
I guess my guess would be Trishelle or Bergie, but I lean towards Trishelle. But I don't know. What do you think would be the smartest one to do?
I honestly have no idea. I really don't know.
I also think Trishelle or Bergie, and I don't know who the smarter one is, because I think that they're going to want to take out somebody on the Peter Pal side, and Bergie is certainly like, Peter's like number 2-ish kind of starts to feel. But also Trishelle is kind of up there. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Trishelle being possible the one to go just because of the way the edit was presented, because she was just so upset over
Yeah.
CT. So it almost feels like story-wise, it makes good sense to say like, oh, CT didn't keep me safe and that's why I'm out here. And it's like, because we didn't see anything about Bergie being annoyed, or he wasn't like
Yeah.
mad, so like I
Yeah.
feel like they didn't make that enough of a thing to be a thing.
Right. Trishelle just feels like the smartest option because it's like there are other reasons that you could kind of point to that someone might say like this might be why Trishelle got murdered. Like Bergie feels like a very targeted murder because you weren't able to murder Peter, so you went for Bergie. And then like MJ's the other person that's not safe, right? That's eligible for murder.
Yeah.
And I feel like Parvati's not going to want to do that because if she's still thinking about Sandra's plan, that takes away a number that's not in the Peter's pals, posse.
Peter's pals.
So I think Trishelle makes the most sense.
Wait. Fingers crossed.
God, that would be nice. That would be really nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind not having to see her anymore.
Yeah.
Bye.
But hey.
See ya.
I think that was all I heard. Does anybody have anything we haven't hit?
No, I
yeah. I think that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, guess it's time to wrap her up.
Yep.
That's certainly fine with me. I do have to tinkle.
All right, then let's not dilly-dally any longer. As always, you can find us over on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We are everywhere that you listen to your podcast on audio. Leave us a nice review because we are nice people. You can also find all of our streams on YouTube. What are the other things we say? Oh my goodness.
What do we have coming up?
Yes, what do we have coming up? Thank you. On Thursday, we will be here twice. We are covering the Challenge 39 at 8 o'clock. And then we will be going down under for Australian Survivor at 10:15?
10:15. Yeah.
10:15.
Yeah. All times Eastern.
Yeah, because everybody plenty of time to watch the Traitors in between. That is why there's a big break.
Of course.
Yeah.
And listen, don't sleep on our Australian Survivor coverage. You never know who is going to pop up in the chat. We've had some fun times in that stream.
Yeah, Survivor AU chat has been litty titty.
It's been a great time. And then, of course, as always, isn't this next Monday a holiday Monday? Are we still doing? Are we still?
I'm fine.
Is it a holiday?
It's President's Day.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know if people like a 3-day weekend vibes. If anyone had like stuff going on.
I don't really. Yeah. I don't think I'm off actually, but I generally don't do anything very special for President's Day personally.
I specifically took off on Monday because the next day I am finally going to see S Club. Formerly S Club 7. So I took off Tuesday and Wednesday, and I said, "There's no version of me that's going to want to work Monday. That's stupid."
That's so fair.
So yeah, so I just took it off. Yeah, so I got nothing going on.
A great time. All right. Well,
Nice.
in that case, we will be talking about the Traitors again, same time, same place next week. And yeah, that's.
Oh wait, hold on 1 second. I did have one other thing. Today is
Manwan Monday.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Thank goodness we got it in.
Thank God,
you,
yeah.
Cynthia Bailey, for always being part of our Monday streams.
Yeah.
I really thought I was getting out of this one, but
No.
I would have thought about that for the rest of the night if I didn't get it in.
You didn't end fast enough.
I was so close. Well,
Sarah.
bye.